Good morning, Doctor. Welcome back.
Good morning, Venkatesh. Nice to be back again.
Thank you. So, our topic for today is be yourself. And the reason this is the topic in our series on wellness is a lot of us expend a lot of energy and create a lot of stress for ourselves trying to pretend to be something we are not. And we lose a lot of energy in trying to either fit other people's ideas of what we should be and so on. And we are going to discuss that today, that it's just much better to be just ourselves. Yes, Doctor?
Right, absolutely right. Right.
Yes, over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Venkatesh. Now, everybody wants to be somebody else, because they are jealous of the other fellow and they
Right.
assume the other fellow is smarter than you, richer than you, more powerful than you, and so forth. So, people are living constantly under so-called inferiority complex. It was not exactly officially inferiority complex, but it is. Whenever you are feeling jealous of somebody, you are suffering from inferiority complex. So
Correct.
the moment you say be yourself, he'll say, "Oh my God, something is wrong with myself." That's the first reaction you get, and that doesn't take you anywhere. Because
Correct.
if you are just going to be jealous about somebody else, or always longing to be somebody else, or to longing to be something else,
Correct.
then you are not going to lead your life to your fullest.
Correct.
So, so you should say, cut that thing out
Correct.
and concentrate on yourself.
Correct.
And then you can do so many things with yourself. Here is a
Correct.
list of hierarchy of things that you can do being oneself. What is that? Now,
Correct.
first is, of course, be yourself, which we said just now.
Correct.
Accept yourself. Now, this is another thing. Now, somebody else is smarter than you, is handsomer than you, he is making more money than you. And if you don't accept the situation as it is, you will be stuck at the same level of feeling jealous. And
Correct.
feeling jealous, nobody will accept that he is jealous. Huh? The
Correct.
moment that you start to feel like somebody else's shoes, then you are jealous. Otherwise, you wouldn't be jealous. So there are so many layers and grades of being oneself. Like you say, you value yourself, you bless yourself, you trust yourself, and so forth. And above all, you love yourself.
Right.
Now, those who are unhappy don't love themselves. And by
Correct.
implication, they don't love their spouses, they don't love their parents. So loving is a sort of an adulterated admiration. And if you don't love, then you are deprived of so many good things that will happen with yourself. Any
Correct.
competition?
Yeah,
Hello?
yeah. No, no. Awesome. Awesome. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think all of this comes from jealousy is basically comparing and trying to think
Right.
exactly like you said, the other guy is better. The grass is greener on the other side. Better to just
Right.
start with accepting yourself. Perfect. Perfect. Please go ahead.
Right. So we are all God's creation. Yeah? Now we won't discuss the theology and theosophy of God and creation,
Right.
but it is generally assumed that God created everybody and everything around you,
Right.
and almost all religions accept that.
Correct.
So then there you're wondering, if God created you, He must have created others like you also. Then
Right.
God himself intervenes and says, no, no, it's not the case. God made only one you.
Correct.
You could be Venkatesh, you could be Thomas or whatever.
Correct.
And if you are just one of a kind,
Correct.
unique, then you feel okay. Nobody is there to compete with me. Subconsciously, you feel that
Correct.
it was created only you and only you.
Correct.
And be happy with that. In fact, the moment somebody says you are unique,
Correct.
there comes a sense of feeling nice about it.
Correct. Correct. There is
God,
something unique you bring to the table, or God created you uniquely for a reason.
right, right. So God made only one is a good
Correct.
consolation. It
Correct.
doesn't have to be a prop. It is a generated, self-generated support system which
Correct.
tells you God has made only you and only you,
Correct.
and so forth. But we don't really know whether God had made any, where is God, where, etc., etc. But
Yeah.
the moment you say only God has created you and you alone,
Correct.
then you feel satisfied.
Correct.
So God made only you.
Correct.
Now, modern science also has something to say about your uniqueness.
Correct.
Yeah. Now, your uniqueness comes from what? Of
Correct.
course, divine blessing, yes, as we just saw, God made you excuse me, in its creation, and He made you in replica of Himself.
Correct.
So He said, if it is the case, what exactly is between me and God?
Correct.
Yeah, well, we won't get into that details.
Correct.
But the composition of you and yourself and God and others, is basically dependent upon DNA,
Right.
the deoxyribonucleic acid,
Correct.
the chemical substance which comprises or consists and uh, puts everything together.
Correct.
So how DNA makes us a unique person. Now, instead of saying God has only loved you and so forth, you may feel a little odd. On the contrary, you say DNA has made you the unique person. You'll say, oh,
Correct.
it's scientific backing. It's a
Correct.
question of perception. It's a question
Correct.
of you describe yourself and so
Correct.
forth. So if you say you are the only unique guy, unique DNA guy, then you feel good.
Correct. Correct.
Uh,
And because you are a
logical.
unique combination of your parents. No one guy
Correct,
is the same combination of his father and mother, right?
correct,
Uh,
correct, correct.
Different brothers, even twins, even though they may
Yeah,
appear the same, each twin is a
yeah,
different combination of those characteristics of the father and the mother.
right, right. So everybody wants to be somebody else. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, everybody wants to be somebody else in terms of being rich or looking good or achieving things and so forth.
Right.
So God said, "Okay, you want to be somebody else, no? Who is that?"
Correct.
And the crow there, hmm? And the crow said, "I want to be you." People said, "What nonsense!" But gradually it dawned on them. But a crow wanting to be a cuckoo
Correct.
has philosophical implications.
Correct.
So God said, okay, you be a swan, not a duck really, swan.
Correct.
And God said to the crow,
Right.
okay, you be the swan today, you look very handsome and you look very impressive and you can impress all the girls.
Right.
And God said, oh, be it, let it be.
Correct.
So be it.
Correct.
And when this fellow came out from behind the mirror, what he saw was horrible.
Right.
Uh, the crow tried to be swan, and swan doesn't care two hoots, and so
Correct.
forth.
Correct.
He is neither fish nor fowl, they say, no, neither swan
Correct.
nor whatever. So
Correct.
this is how we end up with.
Correct.
For example, no two persons, including family members, including
Correct.
all nearby,
Correct.
dear, if you
Correct.
like. They try to be somebody else and they fall flat.
Correct.
And then there are so many folk stories about, oak tree and that willow tree and
Correct.
banyan tree and so forth.
Or the
How they
jackal
wanted,
trying to be a lion or whatever else. Yeah.
yeah.
Correct.
So the next storm, that thing fell down,
Correct.
whereas the willow trees remained. And then God said, see, I told you, you're
Correct.
fine the way you are. You don't need to
Correct.
feel jealous of somebody else and so forth.
Correct. Correct.
These are ways and ways of looking at,
Looking at it. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
No, that's a very
yeah,
wise one again. Yeah. This that the willow tree trying to be the oak tree, and then there is a reason why the willow is thin and supple. And
right,
everything is not about being the big oak tree. Absolutely. Yeah.
right,
The crow
right.
example is also a very good one. Yes.
Right. So when you say, I want to be somebody else,
Right.
when you want to be somebody else, what is it
Correct.
you want to be?
Correct.
And somebody else is what? If somebody else's name is Venkatesh, it's one thing. But then tomorrow morning he wears a different shirt and he says, I'm not Venkatesh, I'm so and so.
Right.
So we are of a composite mix of things
Correct.
where psychologically, philosophically, and otherwise, we are combined together to form what we are.
Correct.
And that is body, mind, and soul concept. And the body,
Correct.
mind, and soul concept, it is a concept.
Correct.
There are people who question this body, mind, and soul. Some
Correct.
people will say, you are what you are what you do,
Correct.
which means you are doing only karma and you are not doing something else. There are Vivekananda and Eknath Maharaj also, Tukaram Maharaj also has said, what you are, and then they distilled it down to uh, longing for the blessings of the Lord.
Correct.
So body, mind, and soul. So if body, God has given you the body,
Correct.
and you can work with the body. So it is your karma yoga you are accomplishing.
Correct.
Then you got your mind, body, and then what about the soul, the so-called soul?
Correct.
Well, the soul is something again. One can write volumes on soul,
Correct.
and somebody else's soul can't get into yours, and so forth.
Correct.
But it is generally accepted.
Correct.
It is generally accepted that we are a tripartite mixture of mind, body, and soul.
Correct.
Now, body is tangible.
Correct.
You can make where your body is. You can say, this is my fingertip, that is my iota heart or something.
Correct.
And then you say, mind. What does it mean? What is mind? What does the mind mean? People
Correct.
will say, mind is something with which you think.
Correct.
Hmm? Body is something with which you act, and mind is something that you do things with, you think.
Correct.
God said, okay. But then what about the subtle feelings that I get? I feel longing for God. I feel to fight for a cause or something. So
Correct.
all that, say, okay, I'll give you a soul.
Correct.
You put the soul in your body, then you are complete.
Correct.
You put the soul, then what are you doing? Your mind and body and soul act in sync. Hmm?
Correct. Correct.
What you get as a combination of this, it is like sodium hydroxide and these components of salt
Correct.
or together, but then you get somebody else,
Correct.
NaCl. Yeah,
Correct. Correct.
NaCl, it didn't exist before. NaCl exists now,
Correct.
but it is totally different contemplation and so
It's a
forth.
different thing from sodium hydroxide or
So
from
this
hydrochloric
is
acid.
how God apparently God has a working hypothesis. Everybody has a working hypothesis,
Correct.
and working hypothesis can take you everywhere or it can take you nowhere. So working hypothesis, get your body right, fixed sort of tangible body, and put some thoughts into it. That your mind is working on it, and then add that little something extra, soul. So you get body, mind, and soul. You are complete as a human being. That
Correct.
is a general understanding.
Correct.
You may
Correct.
argue,
Correct. Correct.
yeah, and so forth. So this is what you should say. If you want to be somebody else, you should be somebody else's mind, somebody else's body, somebody else's soul.
Correct.
So, God, what am I?
Correct. Correct.
These
And
are
I
all.
think what you are conversely saying, which is, I'm just making it explicit, that even if you try to be somebody else, you'll be one part somebody else. Then the rest is not
Right,
that, and it's out of sync, right? We have been talking forever
right,
that it needs to be in sync. Perfect.
right.
Very good.
Very
Very
true.
good thought. Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of it all, the dictum is dicta or be yourself. Hmm?
Correct.
Don't try to be a oak tree or don't try to be a swan or don't try to be a duck or whatever.
Yeah.
Just be what you are, the
Correct.
way God made you. And that instead of getting into arguments again, who made God what?
Correct.
So
Correct.
God made me with this body, mind, and soul, and therefore I am what I am. Aristotle said, you are what you do, that is
Correct.
fine. Then also the karma part of it. And
Correct.
then how you feel, that is the feeling part of it.
Correct.
And what your soul is,
Correct.
you have everything together, but your soul is not in the right place,
Correct.
then you are not right, so
Correct.
on and so forth. So it is not exactly metaphysics, but then it is a combination of what we tangibly call as reality, and then beyond that. So, okay, even if somebody copied you, supposing I want to be somebody else,
Correct.
because you all want to be somebody else,
Correct.
and I don't want to be so, I don't want to be Venkatesh, I don't want to be whatever.
Right.
They can, yeah,
No,
imitate your
yes.
style,
Correct.
yeah, but people can't put together your soul. So, the soul leads to your creativity. So again, we won't go off in another tangent, but then we'll say you can imitate your style, that is
Correct.
more visible, but you cannot imitate your creativity. Now,
Correct.
creativity is something that is another completely, we can have run a session on that.
Yeah, and we
Creativity
have.
is,
Yeah, and we
yeah,
have. Absolutely.
creativity is God.
Correct.
Yeah, people won't agree with that. They'll get angry. The
No, but I
creativity is
think, yeah, I think this ties beautifully with the two slides before, that ultimately any imitation can only be skin deep. The style is skin
right,
deep. creativity, like you said, comes from the soul and the mind, and that is not something that is easy to replicate or copy.
Right, right. Very true. So here is another saying: be yourself, but always you have better self. Now you
Correct.
say better half and my better this and my better that, and there are also bad halves and bad things and so forth. If you be yourself in the bad way, then
Right.
you are a bad creation. You are a bad man, bad person, bad
Correct.
entity.
Correct.
So be yourself. hmm, Be
But be a
yourself
better
already.
self. Correct.
We always, yeah, be better self,
Correct.
We can better yourself. This is another, again, creative philosophy.
No, it's a very
You,
important point you're making, doctor, because many times people use this, I am this or be yourself to be obnoxious, right? You're nasty to
right,
people, you hurt them. You say, I'm like this only, right? Or,
right, right,
I am very honest, so I will, because I'm honest, I will treat, that's an excuse for me to be unkind to people. That is not the purpose, right? I mean, you have to be the better
right,
self within yourself. Absolutely. Very
right.
good point. Very good point.
Thank you. So, so if you want to put list down the attributes that will make yourself, your body, mind, and soul,
Correct.
there are any number of attributes. We have listed a few of them here, but that's not the beginning and end of it. It's sort of it's a representative sample of what you can be.
Correct.
And I be this, I be that, he be here, that, whatever. That be part can be taken out and say be real, be yourself, be unique, be true, be honest, and so forth. All that will eventually amalgamate into what we saw just now, body, mind, and soul. If all
Correct.
of these have connotation with body, mind, and soul, there
Correct.
you are. Yeah, next slide, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to be somebody else, you want to be copy. I'll copy myself. Like this 3D. The 3D thing, they can make aeroplanes and they can make omelets and everything with the 3D
Printing.
technology.
Yeah. Correct.
And I have never understood that, and I won't ever understand it. So the 3D thing. So the 3D thing is a copy.
Yeah. 3D
The
printing, they call it. Yeah.
3D print.
Printing.
I don't know.
Printing. They call it 3D printing. Yeah.
Printing, right, that's right. Now, whether that will apply to your AI part, I don't know. Where these 3D and AI converge or what is it, I don't know. But there is some entity
Right.
that somebody can create your heart and lung, and then that somebody ends up creating your soul. Then where is AI?
Yeah.
So
No,
these
no.
are
So I
all things.
think all of this comes back to what you are saying. You might copy the body, right? You
Yeah,
might
yeah,
even with AI replicate some parts of the mind, but what is still missing is the soul. And so
right.
that's why this creating, copying, I guess this is at a different level, but basically
Yeah,
copying something is easier. Creating is very hard. So
right,
that's
right,
why you
right,
said
right.
creativity is your soul, right? Just now.
Right, right, right. But that is a very superficial way of doing HR related dicta.
Right.
You say something very flowery in the HR context, and you'll see people will give you 25 different claps
Correct.
because you spoke very well. But then your HR related entities, which we are not getting into, are relatively easy to accomplish.
Correct.
And but then if you want to really get into that soul, the
Correct.
soul of body, mind, and soul. If you say soul, people call you old-fashioned. If you say AI, people say, okay, it's more sophisticated. Again, how perceptions change, the way we are. So copying is easy and creating is hard.
Correct.
It is as good as sort of a working hypothesis and
Correct.
so forth.
Correct.
Yeah. How are we time-wise, Venkatesh?
Yeah, I think we can. I've got just a few
Yeah,
slides
yeah, we are,
remaining.
we are just about
No,
to,
no, no
we are,
problem. Carry on. Carry on. No problem.
yeah,
Carry on.
yeah. So the for ordinary people or hoi polloi or people of lesser mortality, so you should know the strength. Most of the people get into trouble because we don't recognize the strength.
Correct.
And after seeing the strength, they disown it immediately. Something is good happening to you and somebody says you are good. They immediately, under the guise of humility, they
Right.
say, no, 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 I'm not big, I'm very small, I'm blah, blah, blah.
Right.
which is okay. It is okay for self-improvement. But
Right.
if you are not aware of your strengths,
Correct.
and then you are not aware of anything. You
Correct.
know, unless you are aware of your strength, you cannot live, you cannot survive,
Correct.
and you have to know your strengths.
Correct.
Whether you are it or not, whether you put it across or not, but your strengths are what drive you.
Correct.
So
And
you
yeah,
should.
to your earlier points, you are a unique you. Your strengths are also unique, right? That gives you
Right,
the, as we are going to see, you said, you can be creative with your unique strengths. You started off by saying there is a
right,
lot you can do once you recognize
right.
who you are.
Very true. So here with the traditional SWOT analysis, which we all refer to,
Correct.
nobody is perfect, not even God. So, so if God is not perfect, how dare you expect to be perfect?
Correct.
Then it's okay. I'll settle for less than something perfect. You know. So you have strength, yes. And then simultaneously, by definition, by dictum, you have the opposite of strength, which is what? Weakness.
Weakness.
Weakness. And weakness and strength are running in parallel in tandem. Okay.
Correct.
But what about the external world? You're familiar with your weakness and strength, but what about the rest of the world?
Correct.
The rest of the world will perceive you in terms of your opportunities to do good work or be good or better, and threats.
Correct.
Every moment of existence, you are under threat.
Correct.
Yeah, you made a good machine, you created one good software and IT technology, you have done something great. But side by side, you are getting into
There's
the strength.
competition. There may be clients don't want to buy it. Yeah,
Correct.
absolutely. There is never any end to the risks and threats as well.
Yeah, yeah. And somebody else's jealousy, for example.
Correct.
Your jealousy of the other fellow is growing side by side with your strength.
Correct.
The stronger, you made me sound a little paradoxical, but the stronger you get, more jealous you become. All
Or
the other
insecure
fellows.
people tend to become, yeah, because they are trying to
Yeah,
protect at all
yeah.
costs what is already there. Yeah.
Right, right.
Now, I
And
guess all of this is coming back to, like you said, recognize your unique strengths, then you have to accept your unique weaknesses as well and make the best
right.
of them, right? Acceptance was one of our early sessions. All of this needs acceptance, right? Accept yourself, you said.
Very true, very true.
They're the last two
So,
slides. Yeah, I think.
yeah. So develop your personal value system. Now, to get this, the uniqueness we talked about,
Correct.
uniqueness is because of your personal value system. Two
Correct.
fellows sitting and doing something like even brother and sister or whatever,
Correct.
unless you have your own personal value system, you
Correct.
cannot develop a full-grown personality. So that you work on, and it is not impossible to work on.
Yeah.
So it is not something abstract and intangible.
Correct.
Uh, you can nurture the core values,
Correct.
hmm, under your umbrella. There are any number of core values that you can look at.
Correct.
Hmm. Uh, I guess that should
Yeah, yeah.
be.
I guess whether you think of it in terms of responsibilities or think in terms of what do you want to do for people, there are ways and
Yeah,
ways of expressing your core values, I guess, is what this slide is saying. Correct.
right, right, right. So these are important tools for development of the self and even development vis-a-vis the outside world and so forth.
Got it.
So core values, they are the anvil on which you strike the hammer and then get things moving.
Got it.
So
So you
that
can
is
then
the
express, once your core values reflect your uniqueness, you can set your goals accordingly. You can set your targets accordingly. You can sort of think about your responsibilities accordingly. Perfect.
yeah.
Perfect. Now, this was the
Good.
last slide, Doctor. Lovely. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed today's session. Good, good,
Good, good.
good. Any other thoughts before I sum up?
That way thoughts will keep coming in this area,
Correct,
in
correct,
the soft skills and behavioral psychology,
correct.
unending list of topics and
Unending list
entities.
of thoughts and topics. And in fact, through our
Yeah,
session itself today, we touched on so many things that we have already covered in the past sessions. And I guess we
yeah,
will revisit as well. Yeah. So
right,
summing up,
right,
we discussed today that being yourself, accepting yourself is actually literally the only way to be. Trying to be somebody else by comparing or feeling, finally in some or the other way inferior, does not allow us to express ourselves fully. We sort of try to be somebody else that can only be skin deep, using what Doc talked about in terms of mind, body, and soul. At best, you can sort of imitate some bit of the body or the style, but each person has got unique strengths, and obviously with unique strengths come unique weaknesses. But if we accept that, we have a whole canvas to play with, which just frees us to do the best we can, right? None of this means that we take our negative parts and say I'm myself. uh, you be your better self, right? What you mentioned. But if you do that, and if you recognize, like you said at the very outset, that each of us is unique, if you accept that God created you uniquely for a purpose, then you have a unique reason to do what you are supposed to do. And that gives you the chance to be happy and balanced. Yes, doctor?
Absolutely right.
Awesome. I loved it. Thank you so much, doc.
Thank you. Thank
See you in
you.
the
This
next
look at
one.
the, yes.
Take care. See you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.